Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Carback. I'm a co-founder of the XX Network. We're one of the sponsors of this event. And today I'm going to be talking to you about privacy, specifically how to protect yourself in this post-privacy world we're finding ourselves living in. And I'll start this off by saying I'm very sad to see it, but privacy is ending. The age of going about your day without all aspects of it being tracked are essentially over, if not numbered. Unlike you, your kids are not going to be able to sneak out with their friends without being put at risk of some bad guy blackmailing them. Unfortunately, your boss will be asking you to justify why you took that extra time to go grab that drink at the store. And let's hope that your regular commute never takes you close to an area of interest to the police, as that questioning alone could ruin your life. In other words, everywhere you go is going to be tracked. Everywhere you go. In the center here is a 5-year-old demonstration of a surveillance camera system that could accurately detect all of the objects in that scene. Even when the camera was in motion, and that's incredible, right? Even when that camera is in motion, it could detect all of those objects. And the situation has gotten a lot worse. What has changed since is that now that same system, it can tell you who all the people are via facial recognition. They can also store large language model summaries of that scene in a handy database, and then anyone can review that at any time later, forever. When you are traveling, that ubiquitous use of automated license plate readers that we're seeing means that anyone who deploys them can track your whereabouts in any city. And these devices are cheap. I'm talking like $5. In addition to each of them being very cheap, the automated recognition on those are now capable of identifying and tracking individuals on bicycles as well as pedestrians walking on the street. I can't stress this enough, how much abuse systems like this would lead to, or do lead to. In the United States, they've become a favored system for police officers looking to keep track of their ex-girlfriends. And that story on the left documents the abuse suffered by residents of a single small city in California. And this is happening in more than just small cities in California. If that weren't bad enough, there's still the spying that your internet service provider can do through your phone, through GPS tracking. Governments all over the world have started to use geofencing warrants, which asks for all devices that were close to a specific geographic area during a certain time. And that sounds useful on its face. I don't deny that. But they just don't work that well. That story on the right is an example. That person was kidnapped because of bad data due to one of these warrants. So what, you might say? That's all limited to these physical systems that are installed by property owners and governments and other entities, and those organizations should have that privileged access to it, right? Shouldn't they? Okay, maybe so, but they're also going to be keeping track of everything you buy. And let's be honest, that's worse in terms of what you can learn versus this physical surveillance we talked about in the previous slide. It's now well known that MasterCard will sell your purchase history to anyone that's willing to pay for it. So I'm sure everyone else does this as well, but the difference here is that those companies are just more discreet about it. And this lawsuit against MasterCard, it's well-intentioned. I have my doubts that it will do anything really to protect anyone. The reason why is that data is forever, and it's inevitable that some of that data will end up in a publicly searchable database somewhere. So that impossibly cheap ring that you bought your spouse, one day they might be able to go online and look at your purchase history and find out all about it. That data is also being used for analysis and marketing to you in ways that are not always in your best interest. There are retailers, like Target in this example, that can tell when women are pregnant based solely on their purchase history. And that is a big problem. People are going to be killed for this kind of analysis. And they likely already have been, but that's a detail that would not get included in a news story. Foreign governments abuse this system too, and it's well known that banks are bullied into using SWIFT by my government, the United States government. And one of the reasons for that is because it gives the U.S. government unprecedented access to information, and that also gives them the ability to enforce sanctions. The conclusion here is that everything you do can be recorded. Everything you do can then be processed from that record. And that's not an exaggeration. This screenshot is from Veed.io. It'll take any video that you have, and it will analyze the audio and subtitle it. And I don't think I need to remind you of the AI tagging GIF I showed you earlier. These kinds of AI tools are becoming ubiquitous. I use one myself to summarize meetings. So it's not just the case of super advanced government or corporations doing it. Regular people have access to this technology. It is very easy to use. It is becoming ubiquitous. It sucks. The most offensive part of it all is that now governments are demanding access to the most private parts of our lives. The most private parts of our lives. These are the ones we share directly with other people, most closely, our most close friends and family. I'm talking about intimate communications between husband and wife, and so on. They want on-demand access to that. They want on-demand access to your personal texts. And of course, they're claiming this is some automated system. It's going to work just like how Google scans your email to sell you ads. But they're not trying to sell ads. They're trying to enforce the law. So really, they're claiming it's just a machine. But the machine is fallible. It makes a lot of mistakes. You only need to look at some of the dumb ads that Google will show you. And you're going to apply this system to personal text where it can destroy people's lives. It's going to create millions of false positives each day. And some underpaid guy is going to be looking and making very quick decisions about it on whether or not, oh, this is illegal behavior or this is not illegal behavior. And that's kind of incredible. Think about that. What they're trying to do is equivalent to just putting a guy who monitors what you say in your home. It's recording devices in everyone's home. The UK is also trying to do something extremely similar. I've also heard that they've considered something in Australia. China probably already is. And I don't know about you, but I'm constantly with friends and family via these secure apps. And those messages, they really do need to be kept private. And the worst thing about all of it is that these proposals create exceptionally valuable backdoors. Those backdoors will be broken, and they are insecure by design. So what do we do about it? What do we do? Well, in the future, the only truly private spaces are going to be online spaces. That is, of course, if they're allowed to exist. I think we need to point this out to our representatives constantly and forcefully over and over and over and over and over again. Democracy depends on having these systems in place. Backdoored systems are always and will always be abused to prevent that. Because community organizing, by definition, is always opposed by the establishment. It doesn't matter one bit if it helps the people or it improves the country. It's also critical to have safe spaces to work out ideas. That might not be technically, politically palatable, but both the abolition of slavery and doing away of caste systems were, at one point in time, completely taboo to discuss in public. We risk absolute societal stagnation if we can't have ideas like that challenged and discussed adversarially in a place where people feel safe to do so. And I don't think I need to say it, but I will. The lack of a secure system of this nature that people use is a national security issue. It's a threat to India's sovereignty that your government is forcing systems to be put in place that would give the U.S. government, specifically the U.S. government most likely, but I imagine China, Russia, and take your pick as well, the ability to know exactly what your leaders are thinking. Because I can assure you that these adversarial governments are absolutely looking at what backdoors are available, how to get access to them, and how to use them to watch and analyze how your leaders are thinking about issues. We also need systems like this to fight other corporate maladies out there. Examples include, these data vampires that manipulate you, corporations that will abuse your wallet, and supposedly these free speech platforms that use their platforms to control the public narrative. There's no counterweight without having a system with some privacy rights. Fortunately, it's not all bad news. There are people starting to fight back. 86% are taking steps to remove or mask their digital fingerprints online. 55% are trying to avoid observation by specific people or the government. And 73% believe that social media intentionally censors political viewpoints. So hopefully there will be legislative controls and pushback that start pushing back against the worst abuses of these privacy violations. But we have to keep fighting this fight. It's probably an eternal fight. Our future and our children's future depends on it. We need to demand and use software that provides properties like end-to-end encryption, provides properties like control of your keys and to your digital identity and sovereignty, and which emphasizes the use of decentralized services that aren't able to be tracked and are oblivious to what is happening on them. The stuff exists. You need to support it and use it when you can. I know it's painful right now, but as it matures, it'll get easier and become more ubiquitous, just like surveillance tech. And I have a few examples here of the stuff from my project. We have, on the left, there's open source links to go download our software. On the right are examples you can use. So you can go into proxy.xx.network and use a system that protects your transaction behavior. It protects the network from knowing which device is conducting those transactions. You can go to alpha.speakeasy.tech and set up a group chat. And down below is a new platform done by a company called Bitfashion, and they've built a platform where you can use your MetaMask wallet to identify and send messages between people securely. Thank you for your time.